Greetings from Act Now. Let me adjust my screen while I talk. Maybe I'll even get some light on while I talk. Look, today, I just got back inside from, well, where's that light switch? Oh, there we go, got a little light. I was filling out an employment application. This is just for something temporary while I'm waiting for some assistance to come through due to my shoulder injury that is preventing me from going back to the kind of work I've been doing for some years. Alright, look. This has to do with New World Order bullshit. Consciousness hijacking, surveillance, junk, bullshit. Alright? Here I am filling out a job application for not a very high paid job whatsoever in a warehouse. A huge barn type place, steel and concrete barn. Excuse me, several 100,000 square feet. Now, I had been doing industrial painting, and I painted some of these places while they're being erected. They're disgusting places, if you ask me. The atmosphere, just the psychic atmosphere, the astral atmosphere, the psychic atmosphere, the huge structures of steel and concrete, like 60-foot high ceilings, up to 1 million or 1.5 million square feet. All just steel beams and concrete and exposed conduit. To me, very psychically and energy body disturbing environments. And then the echoing going on in there. But look, wait, that's without them being populated with people or products. Then once the people get in there, and employment starts, production starts. These places are huge production environments. Production and product storage and retrieval. Just all the way around the loading docks. Several hundred loading docks. Shipping and receiving. Transfer of boxes via forklifts. Just a lot of, noise like beep, 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 forklifts all over the place. And people, when shifts are changed, lines of people, a few hundred people walking out and a few hundred people walking in through turnstiles and metal detectors. Oh my God. It's a nauseating, sickening environment. To anybody who is aware of energy and can feel it like I do. The place makes me feel very, very deeply sick. I was just in there filling out an application. There's a temporary agency with a permanent office right inside the employee entrance door. I had to walk through a turnstile to sit down at a conference table to start filling out papers for a low-paid job, at which I would be sitting at a table, working with cell phones that have been returned with malfunctions, either troubleshooting them or fixing them. In this environment that felt like a cattle barn. Alright? Now, I was being treated nicely by the people there, but look, I was being given all these papers to fill out and so forth by people who, in my estimation, have no awareness that this kind of environment could really be disturbing to a person. Or, they seem to have no problem having people come in and fill this paperwork out by the dozens at a time for low pay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. This is a good thing. This is how society works. What I saw was evidence of a prison planet. While I was sitting there, I'm looking at, people being given access through things that look like crash gates in a prison. You know, and the metal detectors and so forth. You know, people having access cards or not being able to get through to a certain area because they don't have an access card. And the whole background investigation thing to get these different levels of clearance and whatnot. I mean, this was like a military operation or a prison. Let's put it that way. A prison. I was filling out papers that were asking so many questions. This was apparently so that a background check could be done on me, just to see whether I've been convicted of a felony during the last 7 years. Now, why in the world would I be answering questions about whether I have been eligible for or received any kind of, let's say, food stamps during the last, what was it, 7 years or so? 10 years, whatever. Why in the world would I have to answer questions about food stamps, public assistance, and whatnot in order for a criminal background investigation to be done on me? Just to see whether I have a felony record or misdemeanors within the last 7 years. Why does it have to be known all my places of residence, my places of employment during the last 7 years? What in the world does this have to do, really, with checking my police record? You would think that these kind of questions, if relevant, would show up on the background check, right? And if not relevant, then what are the questions doing there? Well, I started to feel really nauseous about all of this. It did seem to me like, while, yes, one thing that was going to have to happen for me to be eligible for employment in this place was all my information be collected and entered into a database before I'm even considered for employment. Like, this was a prerequisite. A shitload of personal information about my life to be collected and entered into a data bank before I would even be considered for a low-paid job. Before even a background check on my criminal record could be done. Information including my places of residence, my places of employment. This wasn't even an application, folks. There was no application in this stack of paperwork yet. Whether I've been on food stamps, whether I've received public assistance, whether am a veteran who has received food stamps for a greater period than 3 months during the last year, all just to run a criminal background check. This is what I was told. And while I'm doing it, somebody walks by my stack of papers that I had already completed, picks up one of them that has some personal information of mine on it that I've filled in, and walks away with the paper. Sits down at a computer. I don't even know who this person is. Nobody else looked around and like, oh, whoa, who's this person taking your papers? No, nobody did. Well, I got up and I walked over and I said, whoa. Who are you? Why did you just walk by my paperwork, grab something that I have put my personal information on, and walk away with it and sit down in front of a computer? Who are you? And the person said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm entering in your information so you can go get your drug your drug screen, your drug test. You're good. It's okay. I work for, I'm helping you here. I'm helping you get through the process. And I'm like, okay. Well, geez. As far as I knew, you could have been taking my stuff and walking out the door with it. Like, this is just standard procedure. Walk by, grab people's personal information, and nobody, like nobody ever raises an eyebrow over that anymore? Is that it? Nobody says, oh, whoa! Get back here! With my stuff. Till you start talking to me about who you are and why you want my papers. Huh? What this all seems to me, this gut, feeling I've got that was kind of like one of being nauseous also included kind of like a gut feeling that all this information gathering, while yes, being part of a process that leads to a background check into my criminal record, also involves collecting a lot of information about me to simply go into a data bank to add to all of the other information collected into a major, let's say, worldwide or whatever, nationwide, whatever, various levels. How about we just go with that? The various levels of data bankage, data banking, right, that have been collected throughout my life, providing an entire web of information about me in order for me to proceed to the next step toward getting a low pay job. Like, this is just a stop along the way, a so-called required one, like the universe set all this up from its inception. From its own inception, right? From the very process of beginning of the processes of involution and evolution long, long ago, that this is just a cosmic necessity. That my life of information has to be compiled and added to the data bank before I can proceed to the next step to get a job. Hey, it makes me feel sick. Consider all the times that you, in your life so far, have answered questions like, who's your next of kin? What is their phone number? Where do they live? We would like 3 references, personal references, not your employers, not your family, personal references. Why? Well, maybe because we already know who your employers were, and we already know your family members because, you know, we know where you live, and we can easily find out your family members. One thing we don't yet have on you is who your friends are. So we'll just ask for personal references. You know, this will give us an idea who to add into this data bank that's being compiled about you through your life. Okay, the people you know. So that way we know who to call, who you associate with, what people you consider to be trustworthy, and what people you believe will say good things about you. In other words, who you're close to. What people are like you in your little social network through life. So you give that information out this year, and then you fill out something else next year, and you put that information next year. This will tell us who, you know, in the long picture, in the big picture of your life, we just developed this whole network of people associated with you, and who's associated with them, and then who's associated with them, because they're all filling out this kind of paperwork through life too. So now we know everybody who hangs out with everybody and what changes get made in that whole general picture through everybody's lives. So we can connect people to people to people to people to peanut butter peanut butter peanut butter peanut butter butter peanut butter sheeple. Just to get a low pay job. Well, I pretty much said screw you, fuck you, up yours and up my, you know, my. Today, gave the paperwork back to him and said, I don't feel like doing this because I'm about to throw up. You don't need all this information. They said, oh, well, this is just for the background check. And I said, well, I guess you're not going to have to do one after I answer all these questions. Well, I guess neither one of those are going to happen because I'm leaving. That's what I said. Very courteously, and they smiled, and I smiled, and they took their little folder back. I didn't want to be caught stealing their property, so I give it back. I mean, after all, there were some papers in there that I hadn't written on yet. That's their property. And I got the hell out of here. Here's why I'm saying this to you. I don't want you ever in your life to start thinking that any of that kind of stuff is normal. Beyond the notion that it's common. I don't want you to start thinking that it's sane, or that it has anything to do with personal sovereignty, with true selfhood, with true self-mastery, with any such ideas. I want you to recall all of your life that this kind of stuff has to do with being involved in consciousness enslavement, consciousness hijacking, lack of personal integrity and sovereignty, with low vibrations involved with what we might just as well call a prison planet environment. That all of this pretty much has to do with enslavement. With a lack of personal freedom and privacy. That it has to do with those things more than with anything else. Surveillance from birth to death. As though you have a tracking device implanted in the center of your head, such that your thoughts, your feelings, your actions are always being monitored, because kept going the way it's going, eventually that will be the case, or something very much like it. I would really like to know that one day everybody on the planet refused to cooperate at the same time. For, let's say, a month. That can make a big change. See, me getting up and walking out of an environment like that in the middle of all this paperwork, about at the point where I feel absolutely sick of the feeling, the psychic influence, the whole vibe of the place, and seeing the irrelevance of these questions I was having to answer, or supposed to answer on this paperwork, just to apply for a low-paid job. In this environment of like a barn in which I was being herded around like one of a cattle, huh? Just me deciding, no, I'm not going to do this today, and telling them why is not going to change a damn thing. It's just going to keep me from getting hired. That's all, because they had a whole bunch more pouring through there. Not going to hurt them. It's not going to change their process. No way. But what if, folks, what if enough people decided one day to all of them say, no, I'm not doing this. No, hell no, I'm not doing this. No. You either change the way this works, or you're not finding anybody to do your labor. What if everybody facing that situation today said no, and continued to say that for a month or two or three? Huh? Or a year. Just never again cooperate with that. Everybody at one time. All at the same time. Not just when the notion strikes, but, like a coordinated effort to just not do this shit. Not go along with it. What if? What if? Well, I'll let that up to you to decide, and to decide what to do about. What to do with that idea. All I'm asking right now is you just don't forget. Maximize your performance, evolve your life, act now, or something. All right? Have a good day.